Alright, tonight I wanted to make a video. I had a little bit of time to think of a couple of topics. This video is going to really pertain to questions that I want answered, and some of them might have been asked in the show, some of them not. If they were, I don't recall them being asked or answered, but it's just going to be a bunch of questions. If anybody has any of these answers, they can let me know and we can go from there. Please, if you're watching this video, like it, subscribe, share the video so we can reach out to more people that do videos just like this, share information, support each other's channels, and share it across different platforms, reach out to many people as possible. And it makes it better when you can shoot videos, and the more people that watch them, it just makes it more fun. You have more comments, different theories, people interested in what you're saying or disagree with you, agree with you. Just makes it fun instead of just sitting here talking to myself. But lately I've had more support, more people watching and commenting, and I appreciate that. So real quick to get started, one question I'd like to know, if it was asked or not, is did Barbara see Teresa Halbach's car at any point that day when she got home? And I know for a fact at some point in there she did come home before she left again. I want to know if I know she was questioned. Does anybody know the answer to this question? Did Barbara see the car, see Teresa Halbach's car there? If the answer is no, did she notice if Stephen Avery's garage door was up or down? Is it usually up or down? Is it normally down, always down? Was it up on this day? Things like that. Okay. To my understanding, there were people there at Barbara's trailer throughout that entire day. So under the assumption that Teresa Halbach was there, and let's say Stephen hit her car in the garage, did anybody ask anybody from the Barbara's residence, all right, did Stephen leave, or any car leave, out of that driveway at any point during the night? We know Stephen had a phone call from Jody, I want to say 8:30, 9-ish, something like that, before he said that he was going to bed. At any point in time, did Stephen leave out of his driveway? These are all important factors. The main important factor about did any car leave out of Stephen's driveway is because the state's claiming that he killed her, and there's no way that the burn site or the site where the body was chopped up at could have been at Stephen Avery's house. The body was moved in the back of her car. That's what the evidence says. You have to look at what the evidence says. The body was moved in the back of her car. All right. So further elaborate on that, we all know there was no evidence in the trailer in the garage. We all know that. Where is the state claiming that Stephen... this is really the fact that it's been so many years ago, and I still have to ask this question. Where exactly is the state claiming that Stephen Avery killed her? The exact spot. Where are they saying that he cut this body up? Now really think about what I'm saying here. Okay. We talk about mutilating the corpse, cutting the body up, cutting the bones. Really think about what's involved in this. If any of y'all has ever cleaned a deer, a rabbit, a squirrel, fish, All right, I don't want to get too graphic because this is a human life we're talking about. I don't want to make it more graphic than it has to be. But really think about what we're talking, what's involved in cutting a body into pieces. Whether it was before the burn or after the burn. Wherever that location was, where did the state say this happened? Because think about it, wherever this location was, I don't care what precautions you take, there is going to be a huge mess. All right, Kathleen Zellner's bone expert said that the cut marks looked like a thin blade that resembled a hacksaw. Okay. If you notice in the series, they only had a little box of bones. And they said it's all they could find. And if you remember, there were bones in the bone barrel behind Barbara's house, some in the burn pit, right? So that means bones was moved around, and obviously they didn't find all of the bones to this body. Okay. That tells me if you can't find all the bones, there's more bones somewhere, which indicates that this crime, at a minimum, the cutting apart, breaking the body apart crime had to happen somewhere else. Where are the bones? Fire doesn't completely incinerate bones, not in a backyard, not even in a burn barrel. So where are the rest of the bones? Where's the site? Where are they claiming that he cut this body into pieces? Because there would be tons of evidence. If they claiming he did it in the garage, you could bleach that floor if you want to. There would have been stuff somewhere. We've already covered that. Okay? Gunshot, cutting a body into pieces. You're going to have... There's no way you can clean... It's impossible to clean all of that evidence up. Okay? Now, I read an article today. It said 14 things that people like me that believe they're innocent aren't really considering. To be honest with you, I didn't see anything in the article that made me change my mind. A couple things made me think for a second, but not for long. But one of the things was that Stephen Avery had handcuffs and leg irons in his house. So did the Barber residents. That there's a lot of people that like that kind of sex stuff like that. I mean, that don't make you a murderer. They had people say, "Well, Stephen beat women. That don't make you a murderer." Being low income or looking like a white trash type person, that don't make you a murderer. Being a rapist don't make you a murderer. You could burn it, setting a cat on fire don't make you a murderer. Exposing yourself to somebody, that don't make you a murderer. I mean, there's tons of things accusations that was hurled at Stephen Avery, none of which makes you a murderer. To even go further, I thought about it when I was in the shower, which is probably sad, but Stephen Avery admitted when he burned that cat. He took responsibility for that. He admitted about running his cousin off the road, something like that, and there were some other things. When he was locked up for the rape he didn't commit, he could have got out early on parole, and he never would admit to it because he didn't do it. What would have changed? I mean, if you look at his track record, he'll admit it, won't admit it. Turns out he was innocent. I mean, so what would have changed at this point? All the times he's been questioned, he wouldn't. You telling me he wouldn't have slipped up one time and said something that would have incriminated himself? There was a few interviews I watched. He didn't have an attorney present when he was being interviewed. You telling me that Stephen Avery is so smart that he didn't let happen to him like what happened to Brendan? Didn't get tricked up? So, thus far, if y'all have any answers to these questions, please comment. Leave me an article, link, something like that, anything. Now, back to the handcuffs. There was no DNA The article even says, no DNA found on the handcuffs or leg irons. That's a reoccurring theme in this whole investigation. No DNA. All circumstantial evidence. All of it. And when you have a special case like this where this person is suing the sheriff's department in that county, I understand in some instances you can convict somebody on circumstantial evidence, but this one should have been one of those to where you say, look, we got to have airtight evidence before we can move forward on this because of this reason right here, people speculating. Okay. Other questions I'd like to know, if he did indeed cut the body up with a hacksaw, did you find the hacksaw? That's not the murder weapon, but that's a very important piece of evidence. The creeper, Brendan claimed that they rolled the body on a creeper, the thing you lay on to work on a car. Was it DNA tested? Or did it match the description Brendan gave? All of these things, I mean, I can go on and on and on. I just do not have the time. Yesterday, I wasn't able to make a video because I worked a 15-hour shift yesterday and I was dead tired, but I wanted to make one tonight. And I mean, I could literally come up with tons of questions. Now, what I'm going to do going forward, I watched Making a Murderer probably 3-4 times. I told my wife I'm going to watch it again. And I thought she was going to kill me, but I'm going to watch it again. And this time, I'm going to keep a notebook on me. And every time, because a lot of times I'll think of stuff and I'm like, oh, whatever, but this time I'm going to keep a notebook on me and I'm going to write down everything that I think of as I'm watching. Because that's the best way to do it. You'll think of things that's, missing pieces to the puzzle. Now, obviously, we don't have all of the evidence and everything that we need to investigate this. And, internet investigators or whatever, but it's interesting and I'm going to do it. I'm going to make my way through both seasons and I'm going to write down notes. And that's going to give me plenty of material to talk about. Also, if any of you watching have your own YouTube channels that pertain to this topic, look, I don't have any, I want to support y'all. I want y'all to support me. So if you leave me links or something to your channels, I will share your videos. I will like your videos. I will comment on your videos and we can work together. Because the main important thing about this is this show, this community has already reached millions and millions of people. But we're the only ones that really care, is the people that think like us. So we need to stick together. We need to support each other. And we need to share information. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to end it right here. I have tons more notes, but somehow or another time flies so fast when I'm sitting here talking about this. This video is already 13 minutes long. I know it's hard to keep y'all's attention. So what I want y'all to do is like this video. It don't take but a second. Share it. And subscribe if you like what you've seen so far. And if you have any questions, any topics you want to talk about, or anything you want me to share or promote, leave it in the comment section and I will. Thank you for watching and have a good night.